What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Gould's Gaming and Tech channel. Today I got a little something special for you guys. We are going to do a comparison of the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 2 versus the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 3, and we're going to answer this simple question: should you upgrade? That's pretty much the biggest thing you guys need to know when it comes to these two devices is, should you upgrade? Okay, so we're going to go over some similarities and some differences. Most of them are going to be similarities because this is more like this than you think. This is the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 2, the Tom Brown edition. This is the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 3, the regular Phantom Black edition. But without any further ado, before we get into that, you guys, as always, make sure you subscribe, share, like, comment, hit that bell for notifications. I definitely appreciate it. And without any further ado, Spidey, let's get it! Alright, so the first thing we're going to touch on is the battery. As far as the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 2, the battery has a 4500 milliamp battery, and for the Z Fold 3, it has a 4400 milliamp battery. So you're getting a little bit of more power from the Z Fold 2. So if you're worried about battery, Z Fold 2 is going to win that one. Alright, the S Pen. I know this is a no-brainer, but the Z Fold 3 has an S Pen and S Pen capabilities. The Z Fold 2 does not. So if you really care about the S Pen, you want to roll with the Z Fold 3. Pretty simple. Multitasking. Alright, they're pretty similar as far as multitasking. They just pretty much remap the multitasking on here to make it look a little bit more funky. And what I mean by that is, if you go into the settings, let's get out of there. If you go into the settings on the Z Fold 2, you just have this one screen. You can't see the options within the options, if that makes any sense. So if you look at the Z Fold, that's the Z Fold 2, this is the Z Fold 3. If you look at the settings on here, it has the settings within the settings, so you can kind of see a little bit more. And also they have the multitasking as far as the dual window split up, so you can do both of those on both devices. So it's pretty much the same when it comes to that. As far as the dark mode on the devices, this one seems a little bit darker. This seems like a little washed out gray almost. So multitasking, they both have it, but the multitasking in the settings is a little bit different, as you can see. All right, as far as the camera, both cameras have a 10x zoom, so they perform exactly the same. Both have a 10x zoom, so you're not missing anything with that. The camera cutout is a little slimmer than this one, so if you care about bulkiness of the phone, this one is lighter and slimmer as far as the camera and just the overall of the phone. So the Z Fold 3 is going to have smaller cameras if you care about that. Both phones have multitasking messages. It's pretty straightforward. It's the same thing you have with the emails. You have one side you can see all the emails, and the other side you can see the details within the emails. Same thing as the settings feature. IP rating. The Z Fold 3 has an IP rating of IPX8 water resistant. The Z Fold 2 does not have an IP rating. As far as extra features on your phone, they both offer pretty decent extra features as far as making this seem like a multitasking beast and just a innovative piece of software and hardware that you want to get your hands on. All right, so as far as the Z Fold 3, they do have an option to customize your call background to more of an animated feature. The Z Fold 2 does offer you to animate your background, but it doesn't offer it the same way as the Z Fold 3. So we're going to click on call background right here, click on it again, and then as you can see, if you click call background, you can now have an animated background with your emoji or bitmoji, whatever it's called. Click on background right here, and this is what I have right now. So this is pretty dope. We're gonna mute that music really quick because we don't want to get copyright struck, YouTube. We don't like those things. So anyways, yes, you can have this every time you make a call or someone calls you. That is pretty dope. But like I said, that's more of a small feature for those who actually care about that. But that is a great thing. Next thing we're gonna get into is the speakers. The speakers sound pretty much the same for both devices. There's not a big discrepancy, or not even a big discrepancy. There's not a discrepancy at all when it comes to the speakers. So we're gonna play a video on both of these so you guys can hear how different the speakers sound, if there's any difference. Camera right here, so you should always be able to see what you're going into, what you're backing into, so you really shouldn't have any issues when backing up. I know my backing up skills are crappy right now, but it's because I'm looking at the camera and I'm looking at this camera at the same time. But to get out of the car, you just press this button right here. It shows your blind spots right here and your actual rear camera right here, so you should always be able to see what you're going into, what you're backing into, so you really shouldn't have any issues when backing up. I know my backing up skills are pretty much the same, so you're not losing anything when it comes to the speakers. Video quality on both of these devices are the same. They both shoot 4K videos, so your videos are always going to come out pretty sweet. Now let's get to the price. This Z Fold 3 launched at $17.99. The Z Fold 2 launched at $19.99. Now the Z Fold 2 is way cheaper now because the Z Fold 3 is out. So if you're trading in a device and you want the luxuries of a Z Fold experience, you can get the Z Fold 2 at a very reduced price now and still basically experience that Z Fold experience because the 2 is close to perfection. Now Samsung did take some steps back with the Z Fold 3, but they also took some steps forward. So no matter what, you're going to get a great Z Fold experience no matter which device you actually get. Now, versions of this phone, they both have the same amount of memory and versions. So they both come in 256 gigs and 512 gigs with 12 gigs of RAM. So you are not losing anything when it comes to memory. Big difference though is the chipset. The Z Fold 2 has that Qualcomm Snapdragon 865 chip, and the Z Fold 3 has that Qualcomm Snapdragon 888 chip. So you're getting a little bit more processing power when it comes to the Z Fold 3, but it's not a big difference. Spidey, is there a big difference? Do you notice the big difference? Exactly. See, Spidey's on the same page with me. He's like, you're not gonna notice a real big difference. They're pretty much close when it comes to that chipset. Now, another thing that is a update is the cover display. Z Fold 2, 60 Hz cover display. Z Fold 3, 120 Hz adaptive display. So all that means is your scrolling speeds. When you're scrolling through things, watching videos, all that good stuff, that just means the smoothness of your interaction and how you perform with your actual device. Are you really going to notice as far as the human eye? You're probably not really going to notice unless you're super paying attention to that and you're big into the hertz. You want more hertz? Z Fold 3 is where it's at. If it doesn't matter to you and they look pretty much the same from this video, go ahead and get the Z Fold 2. Alright, last thing. They're both 5G compatible. Okay, 5G capable. You won't have any issues with your phone dropping signal or your browsing speed being any different from either device. They're both 5G, so enjoy the luxuries of 5G. But that's going to be it for the video, you guys. I wanted to keep it short and sweet. So let's answer the question, should you upgrade from the Z Fold 2 to the Z Fold 3? Or if you're thinking about getting the Z Fold, which one should you get? Simple answer is, if you should upgrade from this to this, no. If you're not a big tech person, you don't care really too much about the S Pen and some of the upgrades that this offers that this has doesn't really matter to you, then no, because this is just an improvement on this. This was close to perfection when it came out, but one of the main things is that it has the S Pen, it has 120 Hz cover display, and it has the IPX8 water resistant rating. Those are the things that this one does not have. Some of the small other extra features that this has that this one doesn't, that is small and minor things compared to those three things I just mentioned. So if you want the experience of a Z Fold without paying what this costs, and you can get this at a reduced rate, get the Z Fold 2. If you've never had a Z Fold and you want to experience what it's like, get the Z Fold 2. But if you want the full experience, get the Z Fold 3, because it's going to definitely blow your mind with all its features and everything that it brings to the table and that it improved upon from the original design. This is still 200 bucks cheaper than what this launched at, but it's completely up to the user. But my recommendation is, I only got this because I'm a tech guy. If I wasn't really big into tech, but I still wanted the experience, it would make total sense to get this. But if you're super into the tech, the specs, and everything else, Z Fold 3 is where it's at. But that's gonna do it, you guys. That's gonna do it for this video. Spidey kept me on point with the time. Spidey's moving and grabbing and shucking and jiving up to his shenanigans and scalawag behavior as always. So that's gonna be it for the video, you guys. I appreciate you guys for tuning in, and as always, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace. Let's get it.